Are you lonely? Well, the last few videos here have been incredibly dense. We've been deep in the trenches of alchemy, dark psychology, and the heavy burdens of existence. So today, let's break the pattern. Let's talk about something painfully mundane. But before we do, subscribe and please don't take anything I say here too serious. I'm just an idiot with a camera. Let's talk about soccer or football. I'll be using soccer today because, according to my analytics, out of the 6 people who watch this channel, 4 are from the US. Of all the subjects in the universe, I never thought I'd be talking about soccer. But there's a World Cup this year, which apparently is much better than World War III. So we'll take it. My relationship with this sport has always been complicated. I came from a poor family of farmers in southern Brazil, a country where soccer is basically a religion. My father and my older brother lived and breathed it. They rooted for São Paulo Football Club, following the classic tradition of picking a giant team from the rich states to worship. But me, I never caught the virus. I always thought it was profoundly boring. 22 guys chasing a sphere, and worse than that, we only had one TV in the house. So whenever the game was on, my video games were shut off. That alone was enough to birth a lifelong grudge. As I grew up, soccer became a symbol of division. In school, kids can be evil, and soccer was just another arbitrary reason to bully the kid who rooted for the wrong neighbor. As a millennial who just wanted to nerd out, I saw it as primitive. And it gets worse. During my college years in the freezing city of Curitiba, I had to take the bus home at night. At some Wednesdays, we had the Atletiba, the massive clash between the two biggest state teams. What was supposed to be a beautiful cultural event turned the city into a war zone. The hooligans came out. These were existences that have my absolute hatred and disgust. They invaded buses, terrorized pregnant women and the elderly, stole and beat people. If I knew a game was happening and they were around, I'd rather pay for an expensive taxi home just to avoid the horror. Arthur Schopenhauer talks about the brute intellect, individuals who are entirely reactive. Their prefrontal cortexes seem offline, leaving them to interact with the world purely through primal instincts, sex, violence, and tribal greed. Add the herd mentality to a soccer rivalry, and you have the perfect storm for these filthy existences to act in the worst possible way. So I stayed away. I didn't absorb their symbols. I didn't care. But I told you this relationship was complicated because there's a good part. And honestly, it's a part I kinda envy. For the exact same symbols that cause mayhem can also forge an unshakable union. There is something breathtaking about being in a room full of passionate fans. When their team is losing, you can feel their shared anxiety. The suffering takes control of the room like a single shared conscience. And when they score, boom, instant explosive happiness. People vibrating, hugging strangers. It is a profoundly beautiful moment of bonding. You can think of this as a planetary gear system in engineering. You have the sun gear in the exact center. Around it, The planet gears lock into place, all revolving and turning in perfect unison, driven by the same force. That is what soccer does to these people. The game is the sun gear. It takes completely isolated, broken humans and syncs their gears together. I envy that connection. Soccer has been the excuse for several barbecue parties I was invited to, mostly because they needed my grilling skills, not my sports commentary. During the World Cup or when El Clásico plays here in Spain now, I like to go out for tapas just to watch the people. And Spaniards are incredibly passionate and thankfully without the hooliganism I feared back in the day. I use their soccer to my excuse to socialize, to stand near the fire, even if I don't feel the heat the way they do. I spend a lot of time in solitude, sometimes by chance, mostly by design. In that quiet, I experience what I call divine euphoria. It's those small, singular moments when your body hits a peak state by doing something ordinary, when the pain of the last rep in the gym transmutes into pleasure, or when the sun hits your face on a cold street and peace just invades your chest, when you're fighting against a harsh wind, but you feel completely, undeniably alive. When I have these moments, I turn them into ideas. I bring them here to this camera, to you. But sometimes I wish I had a room full of people to share the exact frequency with, the same intensity, just a completely different activity. Do you get it? The symbols and philosophies I've chosen to integrate into my life are not popular. I love nerding out on them, but I can't help but wonder what it would feel like to have a team, to have a planetary gear system of my own. Well, I guess may we all keep discovering the things that unite us more than they divide us. True happiness likely lies right there, in a collective divine euphoria, a microstate of eternity that can, even for a few seconds, fill the empty heart of the oblivious. I hope you liked this video. Check the art in the description link if you want to support the channel. Thank you. El Psy Congo.
Hola, buenos días. Wow.